Yo, 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 yo. Episode 16. Episode 16. Abby, what's good? Class E Beach, Jake Prism. Early gang, for real, for real. Oh, shoot. Episode 16. I had the live stream going back on my phone. Man, early gang, episode 16, man. One time for the one time. Hell yeah, man. Another episode. Leno was good, man. Man, early gang was deep today, man. What do we had 98 right before the stream started. Super fire today, man. We're in for a fire episode today, man. This is a guy I wanted to get on the episode for a minute now, man. Mike Boyd. So you guys are definitely you know what I mean, in tune, in store for a lot of gems, man. But first, man, I got to give a quick shout out, man. TB Digital, man. He just dropped the digital crate bundle on the site. Super dope, man. We put a special offer together for early gang only. So basically, you know what I mean? This is the one-shot kit that we've been talking about. We've been building the hype up for months and months and months. You know what I mean? But we also, man, you know, we for less than the price of the one-shot kit, we're also throwing in the brand new retro digital sample pack. It's got 20 original crazy melodies. If you guys loved Utopia, you guys are going to especially love retro digital. And he also threw in special little mixer preset pack called Digital Sauce, man. And you're also going to get a $25 gift card to Producergrind, you know what I mean, immediately upon purchase. Also, man, just for early gang. Now, this is just for early gang. So, you know what I mean, if you're not early gang, stay away. We're doing a crazy dope beat battle, just like I said, just for early gang. So if you guys want to participate in that. And all this stuff, man, you can go get it right now. Just $27, man. This bundle in particular is only available for 2 hours and 57 minutes as of right now. Like I said, this is only for early gang. The official bundle is going to drop at 3 p.m. today Eastern time. It's going to be the same price, but it won't include the beat battle contest pass. So like I said, we wanted to do something special for early gang. Man, you guys have been super dope, supporting 16 episodes. It's crazy, man. So go ahead, man. There's a link in the description of this video. It's the early gang. The only way to get it right now is to click that link in the description. So, you know what I mean? Like I said, we did something special for early gang. And you guys can check it out, man. There's over 200 instruments, 200 sounds included in this one-shot kit. They're super crazy. I won't spend any time right now. How's the connection? I think our connection is good. My YouTube's just been tripping, man. But anyways... yeah, I won't spend too much more time on this, man. Just go ahead and grab it, man. Like I said, $27. We threw $150 worth of stuff in there for you. Shout out to TB Digital one more time, man. This man's been going crazy. This man, TB Digital, has been going crazy, man. One of the best decisions we ever made was, you know what I mean, grabbing TB Digital, adding him to the team, man. This man works. This man is obsessed. This man is obsessed with being the best. So, you know what I mean? If you're a producer out there, man, watch out for TB. You might want to watch out. But like I said, man, man, Mike Boyd, man. One time for Mike Boyd. And we got Mike in the Zoom waiting room right now. Like I said, man, this is a guy I've been wanting to get on the show for a nice little minute, man. Let me pull up my notes here. Now, this guy, he is actually Gary Vee's music strategist. Let me pull up my notes real quick. He's in charge of, like, anytime you see Gary Vee, like with Gunna or Lil Keed or any of these artists, like the Nipsey Hussle interview, this is the man that keeps Gary in the loop, keeps Gary tapped in with, you know what I mean, keeps him tapped in with the streets. Like I said, he's his artist relations manager and the music strategist for Gary Vee. And he also curates the Monday to Monday playlist. So, man, one time for Mike Boyd, man, one time. But what's going on with the chat, man? Before we get into this interview, man, what's everybody sipping on, man? I'm sipping on that Starbucks, you know what I mean? As usual, I know we got coffee gang. I know not everybody's coffee gang in here, you know what I mean? But shout out to the coffee gang. Shout out to early gang, really, for real. But yeah, man, who's hyped for Mike Boyd, man? Let me show you some stuff here. So this is his IG, you know what I mean? Like I said, this man, we're going to get his whole come-up story. You know, we're big on come-up stories, so we definitely want to find out, like, how the hell did he even get into this? How did he link with Gary? I heard he was, like, sleeping in Gary's office, you know what I mean, in the beginning, just hustling, just you know, trying to get it back when VaynerMedia was, like, an early startup. I've been watching some of his interviews the past couple of days. You know, I mean, I always prepare, you know, that's how I always prepare for my interviews. I always go back and watch the past interviews and really try to, you know, get a good idea for what the guest is on. And, you know, I like to expand on some of the questions that maybe were asked in the interviews, but I'm like, damn, I wish I would have got a little bit more information. I wish they would have dove a little deeper into that. So we, you know, that's one of the things I like to do in my interviews. A little gem, you know what I mean, for all my aspiring interviewers out there. And then we're also, man, this guy is going to talk about how interviews are actually one of the main reasons he got these relationships, because I know we're all looking for relationships. And I've said it before, like the Producer Grind podcast, yes, it was great. Obviously, it was great for the brand, great for Producer Grind, but it's also, man, it's the relationships and stuff that we've gotten from these interviews and the people that we've stayed in contact with after interviewing them and the stuff we've built on with them. Like you've seen all the stuff we've done with like Sunny Digital, with the events and stuff. You know what I mean? All that started with getting them on the interview. So I always, man, I know interviewing is not for everyone, but it's definitely something I preach. But you know, I mean, this guy's real in tune with the streets, man. He's got his ear to the streets always. I want to know how he's got so in tune. You know what I mean? We just got to get the sauce. And you know, we're gonna talk a lot about TikTok and strategies. You know what I mean? I think this guy's gonna be able to drop a lot of relationship building and networking sauce, because it seems like that's what he's really all about. But yeah, man, let me play you a couple clips here. He said, "That's me with Lil Keith." So wait, that was you in the picture, Jesus? Or are you just trolling? But yeah, man, real quick, I just want to play you a couple clips, then we'll get him in here on the stream. Let me see here. Early game, man, let me know how many people we got in the stream. You know, my YouTube's been tripping. I don't know what the hell's going on. I can't, unless I have like my phone here and I pull it up, I can't really see how many people are in the stream. So keep me updated, man, throughout the episode. I just like to know, you know, what our numbers are, man. We're always going for those record-breaking days. You know what I mean? Always going for those record-breaking days. We gotta beat 800, man. But yeah, let me stop wasting time and play this clip. So 1834. Now, shout out to the Music Business Podcast. These guys asked some dope questions, and they basically asked in this clip. They're talking about a nice little gem about setting goals. You know what I mean? Because a lot of times we might set goals that are kind of a little bit far out. Like, you know, we're like, yeah, man, I want $1 million, or I want to, you know, get 5 placements this year and stuff like that. But listen to this.
Rest. What exactly was your question again?
Just the most important things to focus on. I'm trying to build the foundation for us.
Hold on, I always watch my shit in 2x speed when I'm watching these interviews, because I get shit done in half the time. But let's go ahead.
Career as an artist.
Yeah, so team focused on like what your goals are, like how Richie will send me a list of artists he wants to work with. So like having clear goals that you could accomplish. Lil Keith's manager told me that one thing they do is they don't necessarily like focus on a goal that's too far out. It's almost like month to month they're knocking out goals, you know? And I thought that was cool because it's like you're able to like more quickly achieve your goal. So it's like you're like building up momentum. I think that's cool.
For sure. Small wins, stacking them.
Yeah.
And so
yeah, I was talking to somebody, because people used to send me submissions. I still do, for me to like manage them or whatever. And a couple people have come back like a good amount of times, like, yo, check out this, check out this, check out this. And I hit them back and I'm like, yo, I think this is cool, but the fact that you've shown me this much already and I'm not into it means I'm not good enough for you. Like, your manager has to be in love with your music and want to run.
Big gem right there. And then last clip, man, just a couple like important things that I feel like will give you a sense of, you know what I mean, what we got in store today. This is a clip about networking at events, which, I mean, obviously right now there's not really a whole lot of events going on, but check this clip out.
And especially the smaller events where a lot of people aren't there. I'd be like the first person at an event. I'd go by myself.
Yeah, Money Madden, it is still fast. It's like 1.25 speed just to save time.
And I'd see something where a lot of people aren't there. I'd be like the first person at an event. I'd go by myself and I'd see someone who looked cool. And I was like, you know what? That person probably works with the artist. And so I just go up to him. I'd be like, let's say it's a Yo Gotti event. I'd be like, hey, man, you work with Yo Gotti? And hopefully they'd say yes, but it doesn't matter what they say, because now I like broke the ice.
Right.
So they'd be like, no, I don't work with Yo Gotti, but I work at this record label. Or no, I don't work with the artist, but I'm a PR agent or something. And I'd be like, oh, that's cool. And I'd tell them what I do. And then we'd have a conversation. And then I just met another person, you know? So I just kept meeting people, getting their contact info, following up. Early on, I know one manager was like, man, you always keep your word. Because I would like tell someone like, I'm going to text you tomorrow, and I would do it. You know, I'm going to email you later, and I would do it.
How many of you guys actually follow up, man? Because that's one thing that if you guys watch the Ryan Leslie podcast, he's like, yeah, man, a lot of these artists and producers, they go to South by Southwest, they go to Revolt, they go to A3C, and they get all these numbers and stuff like that, but then they never follow up with anybody. They just go back home, hop on Warzone, hop on FL, keep making beats, hop on Pro Tools, keep making songs, but they don't really follow up. Well, you guys follow up? Abby says I follow up. Elliot Square says I do. Okay. Larry, oh man, what's good, man? Larry says he always follows up. Be honest too. If you guys, man, I know not everyone in this chat follows up.
That's like the number one thing I feel like that happens a lot in the music industry that like nobody really talks about, but it happens so much. It's like, yo, let's link. All right, bet. Nothing. Like that happens so much.
Yeah.
It happens so. Give me your email. You shoot. Oh, it's me. Intro. The intro be the only email y'all ever sent to each other. Like that's it. It happens so often.
Man, that's some real shit, bro. Because I feel like a lot of times, you go to an event and you're feeling good. You're in the moment. You're like, man, I want to talk to everybody. I want to work with everybody. Like, yeah, man. You see somebody you ain't seen him. Man, bro, we gotta link back up. Man, hit me. We gotta do this and that. Woo woo. And then you go back home, and then it's like the energy is totally shifted. You're back to your daily shit, and you're like, man, do I really want to go leave the house today and go, do this and that with this person? I just think that was a big gem. That was one thing that stuck out to me. But let's go, man. Let's go ahead and bring Mike in, man. Oh, also, too, quick announcement at the end. Oh, just like always with these interviews, the live Q&A portion will start in about 45 minutes. So there is a link to the to join the Zoom call in the description of the video. As always, a lot of you guys are already hip. A lot of you guys are already in the waiting room, so super dope. Make sure you guys are asking some good questions today. You know what I mean? Save like the selling beats questions or the how do I start and stuff like that. We'll talk about all those in the call-in shows. But let's really ask. Let's bring out those good ass questions today, guys. And we're gonna go ahead and bring them in, man. What's going on with the chat, man? Yo, you there, Mike?
Yo, I can hear you.
Yo, what's going on, man?
How you doing?
We just doing. Okay, there we go. I was gonna say we just doing audio today. What's good, man? Hey, man, welcome to the morning show, man. We definitely appreciate your time. Like I was telling these guys, man, we've been wanting to get you in for a minute, man.
That's what's up. Thanks for having me.
Most definitely, man. Let me just get rid of my picture right there. So, okay, all right, good enough. But yeah, man. Welcome to the show, man. How's your life? I guess we'll start. How's your life been in kind of like your work mode and your day-to-day lifestyle? Like what you've been doing, like, with quarantine and stuff. How have you been staying ahead of the curve?
Yeah, you could hear me okay?
Yeah, we can hear you good, man.
Okay, cool. Quarantine's been busy, man. We had to pivot. Like before, one of my main goals with my job, my real job, my day-to-day job was to get Gary meetings with artists,
Yeah.
But now it's all digital. So Gary has a morning show, been plugging him in with artists for the morning show, and been doing these streaming greets where we basically
I saw that
live, video stream live with artists and to bring in their fans to ask questions. But just been staying busy working on some campaigns.
Now, I love the morning show, man. I always look to Gary for like the cutting edge stuff. Like, honestly, the reason I even started the Producer Grind podcast was because I had got into like, listening to podcasts, watching Gary's content and just talking about how important podcasts are going to be. And obviously, his predictions played out because, you hear about Joe Rogan just signed a $100 million deal for podcasts, and even just like Lil Wayne's got a podcast now. Like it's totally shifted. And then with the morning show too, man, I found out about the tea with Gary Vee like on a Friday. I'm like, oh shit, I seen his post about how he said he talked about wanting to do it on Ustream like 10 years ago, and he finally started it. And I'm like, bro, this is lit. I'm like, bro, I'm gonna do this. Saturday I started it. I just took action and did that shit. And here we are, man. 16 episodes in, man, and everyone's loving it, man. So
only 16, you're killing it.
Yeah, we do it Monday through Friday. Every day. So like I said, we just started 2 weeks and a day ago. So
damn.
Bet it up, man. But yeah, man, let's talk about you, man. We're big on come up stories here on the morning show. So I just gotta hear, man. Where does your story begin, man?
Okay, cool. And before I start, I want to shout out D Kirk. He's in the comments. He does all my video work.
Shout out to D Kirk.
Playlist. And then Tara Gav's in there. Bunch of people are in there. Jesus, what's up? that Jesus guy, he is the guy who did the little key part on my Instagram.
Okay, bet. Yeah, I didn't know. A lot of people be trolling in the chat, so I'm like,
But yeah, my come up story. I'm from St. Louis, Missouri, and I went to school in Boston.
okay.
And I was the college rep for Warner Music Group up there.
How did you even get that position?
So I wanted to work in music. I didn't know how I was going to do it.
Yeah.
And I think I saw it on their website, like be a college rep, right? And I tried to get the job and they gave it to someone else. But then I told them, I was like, yo, I'd love to just help out for free. Like I'm here, I'm in the city. Like, let me help out. So they connected me with the college rep.
Okay.
And luckily for me, the college rep didn't like hip hop. And I was like, all right, let me just take over hip hop for you. And so all the acts for that year that were hip hop related, I would throw the events. And then when he graduated, they needed a new college rep. So they just picked me.
Gotcha. So then what was the next progression after that?
So I worked for Warner Music Group in college for 2 years. They told me to move to New York City and I could work at one of the record labels. Like that was the goal. And so I moved to New York City with like nothing and tried to get my job at the record label, was interviewing. And I saw Gary tweet, Gary Vaynerchuk, he tweeted something like, if you're a real hustler, let me know. Like if you're a hustler, you're about that life, like let's link up, blah, blah, blah. And this is 2009.
Okay.
And I knew Gary's younger brother because I met him in college. And so I texted his brother and I was like, hey, I'd love to meet Gary. You know, he just said he wants to meet hustlers, whatever. I just moved to New York. Like, and so his brother was like, all right, come by the office right now. And Gary met me. He knew about me because like his brother had told him about me, how I knew all these artists before they blew up and stuff.
Okay.
And Gary was like, I want you to do my music relations. He's like, you got to decide right now, you want to work for me or not? And I was like, yeah, let's go. So he hired me. I started the next day.
So did you have like a regular job at this time, or you kind of just getting by?
I didn't have a job. I saved up money. I was working like 6 jobs at the same time in college.
Okay.
Like a lot of them overlap, so it was easy to do because I was the Microsoft rep. I was the Warner Music Group rep. I worked at the front desk of our college. I worked at the club. You know what I mean? So like I saved up all my money and I paid for rent for I think 2 or 3 months. And that's all I had because it was like one of those temporary rent situations. So I had 2 or 3 months in the city to figure it out. And right before my rent was up, Gary hired me.
Damn. So you really went out and took a risk. You know what I mean? You're like, at that point in time, your life savings, you're like, yo, I got 3 months. What would you have done if 3 months, like nothing happened? What was your mindset like?
I would have moved home to St. Louis.
Damn.
I had no money. My first paycheck from Gary paid my rent. It was like actually like a miracle.
Damn. But nah, you know what I mean? Shit, you make bold moves. And, you know, the universe usually looks out. So I definitely believe in that. But shit, man. So you were looking only for music jobs, or would you have grabbed any job like that fell on your lap at that point?
Right before I met Gary, I was working as like a busboy at a restaurant. And it was like my 3rd day. And they fired me. Like they told me, they were like, because I was pretty bad. Like I would like almost spill a drink on someone, and it was in the financial district in New York where people were wearing suits, and it was like one of the busiest restaurants. But they had to let me go because I kind of got it through a college friend. Like when I was in college, I made as many friends as possible. So when I moved to New York City, I hit my friend. I was like, "Yo, I need some work," and his dad owned a restaurant, so they let me work there. But then on the 3rd day, they were like, "Yo, we gotta let you go." And that's the same day when they told me they got to let me go. That's when I saw Gary's tweet. That's when I texted his brother.
Damn, so it shit just really worked out. So talking about, you know, going out on a limb like that and, you know what I mean, just throwing yourself out there, like just, you know, seeing where life takes you. You know, we hear a lot of producers and artists talk about like, man, I just want to, you know, drop everything. Maybe they don't even have any savings. They're like, man, I don't care if I got to sleep in my car. I've heard success stories like this, but they're like, maybe I even got to sleep in my car or whatever I got to do. I couch surf, move to Atlanta, move to LA. Would you recommend that? And if so, what advice would you give to them?
I definitely recommend it. I think the earlier you start, the better, you know. I think once you get older and you have rent, maybe you have kids, whatever you have, like it's harder to like make that leap. But, you know, sleeping in your car, do it. You know what I mean? Sleeping on the ground of your office or whatever, like you mentioned earlier, I was watching, you mentioned that I did that sometimes. Like I did do that. You know, do whatever you have to do to make it, you know, or otherwise you don't you don't make it.
For real, for real. So talk about those early days, man. Like, you know, when you were sleeping on the couch at Vayner and stuff like that.
Yeah. So unfortunately, we didn't have a couch, but I was sleeping on the floor.
Damn.
And the reason I did that was because I was doing interviews. So when Gary hired me to be his music relations guy, I had to figure out how to get close to the artists. So I was like, all right, let me interview these artists. And that's how I'm going to get close to them. And so I did my research, like how you were saying before this started. I watched other interviews. I got knowledge. Like I figured out what the next question was. Like I'd watch a really good interview and I'd listen to the answer, but then they didn't do a follow-up. So I'd be like, damn, I'm going to ask that follow-up.
Exactly.
So I interviewed Wiz Khalifa one time after one of his shows in Brooklyn, and our office is in Manhattan. And, you know, I lived in like Harlem almost. And so in order to get home and then back to the office would take so long. I was like, fuck it. I'm going to sleep in the office, upload my video first thing in the morning. I'll be the first person with the video up from the interview. Because you know how everyone is always in line to do their interviews or whatever. Like it was 2009. So Wiz Khalifa wasn't that popular.
Yeah.
Not how he is now, but you know, I wasn't the only one doing the interview. So I was trying to be the first person up. So that's why I would sleep in the office. It was just to maximize my time. Gotcha.
Okay. So it wasn't like a necessity kind of thing. But yeah, I mean, so let's back it up just a little bit. What was your energy like and what was your pitch like when you went and tried to get that job?
With Gary?
Yeah.
I just told him I'd do anything and he said, let's go.
Just walked in and said, I'll do whatever you need type shit.
Yeah.
Dope. And so, but you didn't even have like really any artist relationships or anything at this point. He just kind of recognized that you were a go-getter kind of thing.
I mean, I had interviewed, in college, I started a website with my friend and we interviewed artists and like, so I had been building relationships and I was the type of kid, like in high school, I would sell mixtapes. You know what I mean? Like I was the type of kid who was always like, oh, this artist is going to blow up. And everyone would be like, yeah, right. And then like a year later, they're like, oh, you were right. You know, like I was that kid. So, you know, and Gary's younger brother, AJ, who's my age, who I met in college, he knew that about me. And so he told Gary about me. And like I had told them about different artists and like, this artist is going to be big. This artist is going to be big. And then it would happen. And so he told Gary all about that. So Gary knew I had the ear. And I had like some relationships. I know how to make a relationship. You know what I mean? So like, even though I didn't have all the relationships in the world, I could, you know, I had full faith that I would make it happen.
Okay, dope. Shit, I didn't even know Gary. I thought the music stuff was kind of like when I really started noticing Gary Vee on the music shit was like around like the Gunna and stuff like that. I didn't really even know he was really on it that early back then. That's crazy.
we weren't filming.
Got you. But you were just, you know, preparing and studying the game kind of thing.
Well, like we were doing brand deals. So like we did a brand deal with Travis Porter in 2009, 2010 for Make It Rain.
Yeah, shout out to Travis Porter. Shout out to Charlie. You know Charlie?
Yeah, we did it through Charlie. And we put Brisk Iced Tea cans in the music video. So if you watch the music video, they're holding Brisk Iced Tea probably like right at the beginning of the song. So we paid them for that. Gave them a bunch of Brisk. They went super hard. If you remember that time in Atlanta, everyone was drinking Arizona.
Yeah.
Travis Porter went so hard, Brisk saw the sales go up. Like Brisk was like, man, we're taking over Atlanta. This is crazy.
Really, Arizona was kind of all over the country. That was like the main shit.
True. And yeah, you know, I connected Young Jeezy with Avion Tequila. Same thing.
Dope.
It's like they weren't even carrying that at most clubs in Atlanta, maybe any clubs really. And Jeezy, like when I connected Jeezy with Avion Tequila, like it was like a face-to-face, hand-to-hand connection. Like it was me, Jeezy, and the owner. We all went out to dinner. It was a really cool moment. And after that, Jeezy was like, I don't go to the club unless they carry Avion. Jeezy was like, if you're my friend and you're a rapper, you're posting Avion. Like Jeezy went so hard that now it's like everyone's drinking Avion in the hip-hop world, you know? Before it wasn't like that. It really wasn't.
That's lit. So now I get it now. So you guys weren't really on the content like you said back then. It was all on the brand deals, like who's next, who makes the most sense, how can we line up these plays. I get it.
Early brand deals with Mac Miller. I almost put together a crazy one with Kendrick for Section 80. Like early brand deals is what we were doing.
Okay.
We were just trying to make it work, you know what I mean? Like trying to make it work. Gary wasn't filming himself back then.
Definitely. Obviously it wasn't just music artists that you guys were targeting. You were kind of all over the place with influencers back then, or?
It was just music.
Just music. Okay. Very cool. Very cool. So let's talk about, man, obviously the tool that really helped you build these relationships, which is interviews, which, man, I preach. That's exactly, you know, been one of the things that has helped our brand so much. And I didn't even, when I first started the podcast, I wasn't really even necessarily looking at it as a relationship kind of play. I was just like, you know, this is going to be great for the brand. You know, we're going to get a bigger audience because we're going to be interviewing these guys. But like I was saying, man, there's been so much stuff that comes after that interview, those conversations after the interview, after you've had that hour and 2 hour talk with that person and you're kind of just kicking it and talking about the next play. Talk about, you know, the whole strategy behind that.
Behind how I approach interviews?
No, I'm talking about the hip hop at lunch, like your guys' first show. And like you said, you were using that to build relationships.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Hip hop at lunch, man. Those were the good days. Yeah, we had these interviews, and what was cool was I'd do so much research that after I did an interview, the artist was like, "Damn, I really fuck with you." You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So, like, they just wanted to stay in touch. Like, for example, Future. Future to this day, if you were with Future and you were like, "Yo, I know Mike Boyd," he'd be like, "Oh, damn, Mike Boyd is like my number one supporter from day one."
Fire.
You know what I mean? Like he still says that shit. Like I was early with Trouble, Trinidad James, Mac Miller. When Mac Miller graduated high school, he came to our office and he was so excited, him and his friends, and they were like, "RIP to Mac Miller." But
Definitely.
He was like, "Oh damn, man, I finally get my interview." Like, you know what I mean? Like Big Crit. I was in the studio with Big Crit when he dropped Crit Was Here. If you listen to that tape and it's kind of like fucked up audio wise, like it's kind of low, that's because he turned down the mix or something to do an interview with me. And I just found that out recently. He told me, he's like, "You're the reason why my tape's fucked up." But like I was just around all these artists at the beginning of their careers. And so they never forget you when you're at the beginning, you know?
Yeah.
Like Young Thug. Like when I see Thug, it's all love because I put together Young Thug and Pee Wee Longway's Loaded video. Have you ever seen that?
Yeah.
Trap House? Yeah. So like I went up to Thug and I told Thug, I want to shoot Stoner right now because I was managing a video director. And he was like, "Yeah, let's do it." So he jumped in his car. I followed him. Drives crazy. In Atlanta, we went to Pee Wee's Trap House. We didn't have time to do Stoner properly. So he was like, "Just pick a different song." So we picked Loaded. And my video director, Goodwin, at the time, he shot the video, I think, in 40 minutes. And that was like huge video for Thug and Pee Wee at the time. You know, they were playing it in the clubs in Atlanta. And anyway, every time I see Thug, like let's say he doesn't remember me right away, I'm like, "Yo, bro, remember me? I put together that video for you." And he like takes a step back, look at me, and then he's like, "Damn, what's up, bro?" Like, oh shit. Like, you know what I mean? Just being there early matters because like I believed in Thug when most people didn't give a fuck. You know what I mean? Or like I remember when people did not like Future. Like people did not like Future's music, especially in New York. Yeah, they did not like it, and I would go so hard for him, and that's why he like. If you look up early tweets, he did a show in New York City and he shouted out the people who put together the show, and then he shouted out me. And I had nothing to do with the show, but he's just like, "Yo, I'm in New York. I'm gonna shout out Mike."
That's fire. Hell yeah. So while we're on this topic of, you know, the relationship building, I've heard you talking about the importance of, you know, following up with these relationships, and you know that you said that's one of your main things that you do for Gary is just kind of keep the relationship healthy and just keep it going. What are some advice you could give to young artists and producers to keep, you know, these new relationships going and building and healthy?
I think connect the dots whenever you can. Like, don't always see it as a win for you. You know what I mean? Like, do you know who Key Wayne is? The producer of Big Sean? Yeah. Like, I was in New York City with him. One time we were doing an interview in Times Square, and I saw Meek Mill. And this is early on for Meek Mill. So, like, he was just in Times Square, and I told Key Wayne, I was like, "Yo, that's Meek Mill." I was like, let's go talk to him. You need to meet this guy. And I ran up on Meek Mill and introduced myself. Because, you know, like, he kind of messed with the blog. Everyone was messing with the blog, Hip Hop at Lunch, because I was so early on everyone. And then I was like, "Yo, this is Big Sean's producer, bro." I was like, "You guys need to work." And then they did that Amen song with Drake. And it's kind of like, I didn't get anything out of that, but Key Wayne will never forget. You know what I mean? Like, connecting the dots, you know what I mean, is like a thing. Like, if you're a producer and like, if you're like an engineer or a producer and you're around an artist and you know some other producer can make a good connection, or they're looking for a beat that's smooth and you don't do that, or like, all you do is sample and they need a no sample beat. Like, if you just connect the dots, it comes back to help you too. You don't have to be selfish all the time.
That reminds me, man. One of our podcast episodes, a guy named Keno Beats. He's from Virginia, and when he was just on his grind, starting hustling before he had placements and stuff. Sunny Digital was in his city. I think it was for like a producer event or something like that. But Sunny Digital was in his city. And he's like, oh shit. He's like, I gotta make this connection. So what he did is he got on the phone, called up like the local artists and stuff that he had worked with, and he's like, yo man, you gotta buy a beat with Sonny. He's in the city, blah 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 blah. And then he got someone that's like, all right, bet I'll do it, and I have him pull up to the studio. And he got Sonny on the line. He got Sonny to pull up, put some money in Sonny's pocket essentially. And he said like, Sonny never forgot that. He was like, man, this I come to the city, this guy, is getting me bags and stuff. So they've been just cool ever since, and they've been building ever since. That's a major gem right there. I like that.
Yeah, shout out to Sunny Digital. For
sure. Now, okay, obviously connecting the dots, but what if guys are like, man, I don't really have any dots to connect. I don't really, I don't know any artists that would buy beats or just, maybe they're like, they're just thinking like, I don't know any dots to connect. Are there any other ways that you could just kind of keep yourself in perspective of the person that you're trying to?
Yeah. So if you already have a relationship, how to keep it strong?
Yeah.
I say communicate, be honest. You know what I mean? Like let's say you're a producer and you meet an artist one time in the studio and you want to keep your relationship. Like when they post something cool on Instagram stories, like say something, you know what I mean? Like be humble, comment on their posts, follow them. I know some people are too cool to follow, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Like, oh, I'm not going to follow this person until they follow me back. It's like, just show love, man. Cause people are just normal people. You know what I mean? Like I know Sunny Digital really well. He's a great guy. Like, I don't think he thinks of himself as anything special. I think he's just a producer and
real humble dude.
He knows the struggle and he knows what it's like coming up. So if you're like showing love to him, he's going to appreciate it.
Definitely. No, that's a big thing.
Any way you can. You know what I mean? Like maybe you have a side hustle. Maybe you like could add value some way. I think adding value is everything, Even me, like if someone jumps on my comments, like obviously I'm going to read it. If someone DMs me, I'm going to read it. I think everyone reads their stuff. But like if you add value, like D Kirk watching right now, he does my Monday to Monday graphics.
Okay.
He's doing graphics for FBG right now. And like he's not charging them out the ass or anything, but he's adding value. And so like now he's kind of like part of the clique a little bit.
Dope. Just working his way in, like you said, adding value. I like that. I often say, if you're a producer and stuff, maybe pick up a camera so you can add value in that way. Maybe, start engineering, start doing graphics, start doing photography. Any different little wrinkle that you can add to what you bring to the table. So yeah, man. And I also too, I just want to point, I feel like there's a fine line when you're fostering a new relationship between, making sure you're hitting them up enough so you're staying in their peripheral, but then also not being that annoying guy.
Yeah.
Now, what does that look like, being that annoying guy?
I think when you're not bringing value, you're annoying. You know what I mean? Like if some kid hit me every day, but they were like adding value, giving me good feedback, it doesn't annoy me. But like the second you're asking for too much, or you're just like one guy I know, he's watching right now. I think he claps at a lot of my Instagram stories. That doesn't bother me. Like I just know he's watching. I appreciate it. It keeps, like especially someone like Gary. People who are busy, a lot of times is out of sight, out of mind.
Yeah.
Like a lot of times I'm with Gary when he does like Breakfast Club or Power 106 or whatever it is. You know what I mean? And like I'm in the room, and he'd probably talk about me anyway because it's a hip hop meeting. But like he literally will look at me. And then he'll be like, all right, yeah, Mike Boyd. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, if you're out of sight, you're out of mind. So I don't think you could add value too much. I think as long as you're adding value, and it could be anything. It could just be positive reinforcement, Yeah. But like, once you stop adding value, that's when you get annoying.
Definitely. Now I feel that. And, always asking for stuff, or, hey man, can you check out this beat? Or, hey man, can you, I got this fire beat, man. I know you know such and such. It'd be cool. You think you could pass it along to them?
Well, what Gary also says too, that I think is really smart, is that you got to realize if it's a bigger win for you than the other person. Like people will tell Gary, oh, I got a free beat for you. It's like, dude, just because it's free doesn't mean that it means a lot to me. Like me using your beat on my platform,
Right.
I'm giving you the win.
100%, bro.
Like you trying to charge the baby to buy a beat from you, it's crazy because it's like the baby using your beat, that's giving you the win. Like you gotta put it in perspective, you know? Like you can't be like, hey, I'm trying to do you a favor, I'm trying to give you a free beat. It's like I don't care if you were already platinum. It's like the baby putting you on is bigger than you giving him a free beat.
I think that's another big gem for like, networking with people on social media. Cause we've had people like, reach out and be like, hey man, I chopped up this clip or I made this graphic for you, or man, you can use my beat in your podcast, just shout me out. And it's like, you're not just adding value just to add value. Like, what I mean? If you were trying to do that, you'd be like, yo bro, just use this. I don't want no credit. I don't want none of that. You know what I mean? But it's like, you're coming at it a little bit like selfish, or I don't even know what the word would be.
Yeah, I mean, if you have the best beat and you want to like add the soundtrack to a podcast, I'd say like, yeah, definitely like submit it and definitely like be positive and be confident, but like don't ask for too much. You'll get it. You know what I mean? Like you'll get your respect. Definitely.
Yeah, no, definitely, bro. And it's like have a little patience with it too. Like if you might not get the shout out the first time, but if you keep providing value, eventually they're gonna like the person's gonna just kind of feel like, damn, I gotta show this guy some love. I gotta do something. You know what I mean? It's a cool dude. He's been, providing value. He's been showing love. So I think that's a big gem too.
Yeah,
and just
working with emerging artists, it's like a lot of times you work for free, and then when they blow up, then you get paid crazy. You know?
Yeah, man. We get a lot of guys who are like, man, when do I start charging these artists? When do I start charging these local artists? And would you agree that, if it's a local artist that you believe in, don't even talk about money, just kind of grow with them, and maybe you record them for free, let them rap over your beats, if it's an artist that you believe in?
Yeah, I think it's the same thing as sleeping on the floor, sleeping in your car, It's like some people don't want to sleep in their car and some people don't want to produce for free, And that's just sometimes you gotta think like if you were in Charlotte and you were hanging out with the baby before he was famous, right? And he's like, yo, I have no money, but I love your beat. What are you going to do? You know what I mean? Like, you're going to say, no way, like, I need $300. Like,
right.
You know what I mean? But then later on, he became the baby. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you were down to be a team player, or like we've done things in the past where I've been involved where it's like Empire and they split the proceeds, So it's like you could do a beat for free and then make money off the streams. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's just investing in yourself, like by putting your beats out there and like seeing what does pop. But I mean, I'm not saying people need to work for free, but I'm just saying if you're not at least open to the idea, you might close doors that you don't even want to close. You're closing doors on yourself, because like not everyone has the money to pay you. Just because they rap about having money doesn't mean they have money,
That's that classic meme. They're like, rappers talk about all this money, but they don't want to pay me for beats. Nah, yeah, definitely. I think it's a balance.
Free beat is adding value.
Exactly. But yeah, man, so talking more about networking, I've heard you talk about, going to events was huge for you in the beginning of your career. Obviously before, and then you said before quarantine, you had recently started going back to events. It was like a lost art for you that you kind of got back into. What are some tips you can give to producers on how to do this, or what are some type of events you recommend young artists and producers to go to?
Yeah, and one more thing, I just need to say this. Because I know some producers probably are like, man, F that. Like, I'm never going to produce for free. Like, I do marketing advice for free. You know what I mean? Like you mentioned Charlie. When Charlie was coming up, we used to have phone calls every day. And I'd give him all my ideas. You know what I mean? Mike Will used to call me every day, every single day. And I would just brainstorm with him. I never charged him $1. You know what I mean? And, like, me and Mike are cool. Me and Charlie are cool. Like, if I hit them, they hit me back. You know what I'm saying? Because I gave them something and I wasn't trying to charge. You know what I mean? I wasn't like, oh man, you got to pay me $300 per day if you want to talk to me. You know what I mean? So it's like, you got to be about that life a little bit. Like, I understand everyone needs to get paid and everyone needs to pay bills, but you also got to make sacrifices sometimes if you want to win big, So like, I'm not telling producers work for free, but I'm saying you might have to sometimes if you want the bigger long game win, like long term. Like if you're thinking like 5 years from now, working a couple times for free isn't a big deal. Make your money somewhere else.
And I think it's also picking and choosing your battles or your people. It's not like all day, every day, you're just letting anyone call you and getting free advice. And you're just spending your entire life giving people free advice. But obviously the names you mentioned are, people are like, you know what, man, why would I even charge this dude? Let me just talk to this guy and build this relationship.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. It's only people I believe in, Like if it was some kid who I didn't believe in, of course I would charge. You know what I mean? But it's like, if I believe in you, like you're Mike Will, like Mike Will asked me to connect him with Big Crit. You know what I mean? Like he was asking me to make moves with him. You know what I mean? Like I was like, I believe in you, bro. Like you're dope. You should work with Crit. Like you should be able to do with all these things. Like you're amazing. You know what I mean? I wasn't like, oh, my time costs this much money. And maybe I've left money on the table, but like those are my relationships, which I value more than money.
100%, man. It's like investing in stock, kind of, similar thing. So yeah, talking about the events, what are like, because you mentioned events, but I kind of didn't know what you're talking about. Like, you talking about like Revolt conferences or like smaller events?
Oh, I was talking about concerts and like listening parties. Basically, when I moved to New York, I didn't know anyone. I was alone. You know what I mean? So like, I had like some college friends, but because Boston's real close to New York, so I had some college friends in town. But they weren't in the music industry. So, I'd go to concerts and I'd just show up early and there'd be like, I'd show up early because why not? You know what I mean? And also like, there'd be some dude, some girl, some guy, whatever, like wearing cool clothes or wearing something that I know you only know about if you're in the know, you know what I mean? And I'd just walk up to him and I'd just be like, hey, are you with the event? Hey, do you work with the artist? Hey, yeah, exactly that, man. Like, I think that's the best icebreaker is like, hey, like if I was at your podcast in person right now and there was someone standing on the corner and I was standing on the corner too of the room, like if Gary was being interviewed by you and I was trying to make a connection, I would ask the person next to me, I'd say, hey, do you work with this guy? Hey, are you part of the podcast? Hey, do you what is your role here? And then I made another connection, It's just really just like thinking about where you're at, and then asking the person, are you involved with what's going down, and hearing what they say. And that's how I made a lot of early connections in my life, because I was like meeting the record label people, meeting the managers, meeting the A&Rs, meeting the booking agents, meeting the lawyers. Like I was meeting people's teams, because even I used to tour manage. Like before the show starts, I'm there with the artist. Like I'm doing sound check. Like I'm in the crowd when no one else is in the crowd. I'm talking to the bar. You know what I mean? Like those important people are early, often.
No, definitely. And then like just to double back on what we were talking about before, then, think about it, be like, okay, how can I'm not going to just ask this guy that was just in this interview, like, hey man, I'd really love to meet Gary Vee. I'd really, you know what I mean? You're not going to do that, but, think about, okay, this guy is this, I know these people, maybe I can, bring him value and stuff like that. So I just wanted to, double back on that. So at these concerts, were you just getting like general admission tickets, or were you somehow getting backstage?
Both, like I would email people in advance and be like, hey, I want to do an interview, and they'd put me on the list.
Oh, okay. Coming in as media.
Yeah.
That's a big jump, man. Like I said, man, pick up a camera. You never know. Even if you don't want to become the next podcast or whatever, having that camera in your hand can get you indoors. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's definitely worked for me. So, and then listening parties, that's kind of just something that you have to network your way into, those kind of things, huh?
Yeah, exactly. Like if you're bringing value, people want you around, So like how you said, pick up a camera. It's like if you, I don't know, find a way in, Like no one wants to be around people who aren't bringing value. So find your value add and apply it, and people will start inviting you to shit. You know what I mean? Like if you're a producer who's not bringing me any value, why would I invite you to this event? Like if you were throwing an event, why would you invite me? Like we don't know each other. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. That's a tough one I think a producer needs a good manager that's going to like be the one networking, like how I am with Richie. Like I put Meg Thee Stallion in a Super Bowl commercial this year. Dope. You know what I mean? Like I know her people. Like I know the Baby's manager, like I know ASAP Ferg's manager really well. Like I know certain people really well because of the job I do. And if they ever needed a beat, I manage Richie, So it's kind of like no, I'm not the one giving them the beat, or I am the one giving them the beat, but I'm not the one making the beat. You know what I mean? So it's like, have a team around you that's valuable, maybe. Like, have people in your corner that add value, that support you.
Yeah, let's this is a great segue into that portion of the interview, man. How did what made you even want to manage a producer, and how'd you link with Richie?
So I was at, you know who Siege is from 2-9?
No.
Sushi Siege. He's dope. He's a dope producer, but so 2-9 was an Atlanta group, and he was one of the guys in the group.
Okay.
And this was like, it was 2015, early 2015. So early in the year, I met Richie at Siege's house. So Siege was making beats. I was with some artists there, and I met Richie. And then when I met Richie, he was just so humble. He was sitting in the corner, not saying much. I heard some of his beats, and I was like, damn, you know, he really makes dope beats, but he was just the nicest guy. You know what I mean? Like, he was just like real humble. Like, he was like, nice to meet you. Like, he wasn't like full of himself or anything at all. And not that he should have been, but you know, some people just have that attitude about them. So like, when I left, the people I was with, I was like, you know what? That Richie guy, he's gonna make it. Cause like, his beats are great, and he was just fun to be around. Like, he made you feel comfortable because he was just so humble. He wasn't like asking for anything. He was just there. And like, that's how I met him. And then I stayed in contact with him, and he asked me for help, you know, advice, you know what I mean? He'd be like, oh, you know, this artist wants to work with me, or like, you know, he had a song with K-Camp. And he's like, you know, could you help me with the paperwork? Like, could you just help me with some advice? And I would help out. Cause like I said before, like, I help people out. Like, that's what I do. I help. And I wasn't charging anything, and just giving advice, you know? So I was just there for him. Cause I was like, I fuck with you. I believe in you. Same thing I did with Mike Will. Same thing I did with whoever, you know, I'm just there because I believe in you. I talk to you. Like, I'm just a communicator. And, it got to the point where Richie was asking me for so much advice that I told him, I was like, you know what? This is taking time out of my life where I have commitments that pay me. I was like, if you want this much advice from me, like, we got to have some type of working relationship. Like, I got to be your manager, bro. Like, that's what I said. It came down to that. Cause I was like, I want to help you. I believe in you, but like, I got other things that take my time, and my time is worth money. Just like everyone's time is worth money. So I was like, if you want me to be your manager, or if you want me to help you, I have to be your manager. Like, I have to be making money off this.
Now, you mentioned he had a placement with K-Camp. Where was he at in his career when you first met him? Was he getting placements? Was he just starting out, or?
He had the K-Camp placement, and he started working with McConan, and he had been starting working with Made in Tokyo.
Okay, so he had a little motion going, because that was going to be my next question was, you know, because we get a lot of guys, artists, you know, people that I even know personally. They're like, man, I need a team, and a lot of these guys are at ground zero. And my whole reaction is, bro, like you're talking about needing a team just to get from 100 plays to 1,000 plays on YouTube or whatever it is. Like, I feel like there's so much you can do, you know, on your own. You know what I mean? Before a team even comes to play. And I've heard people say, like, bro, you don't need a manager till you have something that you need to be managed, and it's something you can't handle anymore. What are your thoughts on that?
I see it both ways. I think you're right. Like, you don't need a manager until you need a manager to handle something. But if you have a good team, man, that's like invaluable, you know? Like, if your best friend wants to manage you, even if you have nothing going on, now you have a best friend who could help add value to some situation and bring you in the door, you know? Like we were saying earlier, like let's say you're a producer starting out, you don't know anyone, but you have like 2 friends who want to be your managers, and they believe in you, like they fully believe in you. Like, make them your manager, you know, and like have them spread the word too. Like, the stronger your team, the stronger you're gonna be. But like, yeah, like, if you don't have anything going on, don't cry about not having a manager, because, like, if you could get a manager, get it. But if you don't have a manager, you might not need a manager, you know, like if you don't have someone working your deals, it's probably because you're not getting a lot of deals, you know? And some people don't even get managers as a producer. They just get a lawyer, you know? You know what I mean? Like, some producers get really far with just a lawyer.
Definitely. And then also, I would just want to add too, I feel like just because someone wants to be your manager, make sure that they're actually like dedicated, and they're you know, passionate about leveling up, not just like, oh, they're gonna be passionate for a week and then they're gonna be back to what they regularly do.
Yeah. He believes in you.
Any tips on vetting people like that?
So what me and Richie did was we started off, man, I was his manager for 3 months. You know what I mean? It was like no hard feelings. It's like we signed a piece of paper because I had an entertainment lawyer at the time. You know what I mean? That I knew. So I was like, hey, I want to manage this producer. Could you write something up for me? And she wrote something up for me that said 3 months. And so me and Richie worked together for 3 months. And if it was good, we were going to work more. And then I think we signed another one for 6 months. And then after that, we're just working. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like give someone a trial period and see if they're full of shit. Like if someone's like, yeah, I want to be your manager. I could open doors. I'm going to hit these artists for you. Be like, all right, cool. I'll give let's do it for 3 months. That way, when 3 months is up, no one's feelings are hurt. If you have to say no, you just have to be like, hey, you know, I wanted this to happen. It didn't happen. Like, you're still my friend, but like, let's not do this.
I like that, man. That's something I've never even heard anyone say. It's like setting like bite-sized little milestones. It's like, no, we don't. I'm not going to sign for 2 years or 4 years off rip. Like, especially if you don't have no experience. I like that. I've never heard no one say that. That's big. I think that's a big gem. So I mean, obviously a manager and a lawyer. Are there any other like initial positions that are good to add to your team as an artist or producer?
It's a hustler. You know what I mean? Like anyone who's in your corner. You know what I mean? Like even with Richie Souf, it's like he has me, but then, you know, like I have Gary. You know what I mean? So sometimes we're in a meeting and Gary, because Gary has a lot of love and respect for me, we'll be talking to an artist and Gary might be like, you working on music right now? You doing anything? And they might be like, yeah, you know, I'm just looking for the right beats, or I'm trying to put this project together. And Gary, without me even saying anything, he'd be like, you fuck with Richie Souf, bro? He's dope. And I'm like, thank you, Gary. That was a dope cosign, bro. Or like, you know, I'll bring it up in the meeting. I'll be like, yo, Gary, this artist, you know, Gunna, Keed, whoever, I'll be like, they mess with Richie super heavy. And then Gary will be like, oh yeah, that's my guy. You know what I mean? So I think just the more people you have around you that are going to sing your praises, the better. But yeah, I think a manager's dope. I think a lawyer's crucial. You know what I mean? You don't want to sign a lot of work for hires.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Because then they own everything. So like, or producer decks, you know, a lot of producers starting out, they work with an artist and they're like, oh yeah, here's the paperwork, sign it, and I'll get you paid. And it's like, you sign it, you didn't read it. Like if you had any type of lawyer, a young lawyer who's like hungry, who's going to like reply quickly to emails and stuff, like that's key.
Big jam. I think like what you said, it boils down to need. If you're not a dot connector, you need a dot connector.
Yeah, dot connectors.
Yeah, not necessarily. I mean, obviously they need to be able to look over the paperwork and stuff like that, but that's just half the battle. Cool, man. So let's talk about TikTok. I know you said you wanted to give some advice on TikTok, and I know like, you know, Gary's super big on that. If you were a producer and you're like, yo, I'm gonna start a TikTok today, what would you start doing?
If I was a producer, I would take people's TikTok like videos and add like dope production to them, and then like DM them and see if they fuck with it, and maybe they like start shouting you out and using your beats in their TikToks. You know what I mean? That's what I would do personally. I haven't even thought about that before you asked me, but like that's what I would do. You know, just add value. And like if you make really great beats, and like obviously you're not going to go straight to Charlie, who's like the most popular person on TikTok. You might go to like whoever who has 1 million followers or 500 or 200,000 or something, and you know, give them your beat. DM them on Instagram, you know, because TikTok DMs might be harder to read or something. But like, you know, post it on your page and tag them and be like, hey, you know, like I took your dance and I made it my beat over. I did my beat. Like maybe I can do some original beats to do dances on. Like that would be a cool hustle. I haven't seen anyone really do that. But the thing I wanted to talk about with TikTok is Sunday License, the producer, and he's watching right now. And I've been working a lot with Sunday License. If you follow him on Instagram, he's dope. And what I've been doing is through my day job at the marketing agency VaynerMedia, like we work on TikTok campaigns, and I've just been trying to get emerging producers involved. You know what I mean? Because I'm like, why give these TikTok campaigns to like Drake or whoever when like we got these emerging producers who are just as good as anyone else and work just as hard, and like we could put some TikToks together. And what I mean by that is like a brand might be like, oh, we want to do a dance challenge to raise awareness around our brand. You see what I'm saying? And we need a beat. And the brands have the option to like license a Doja Cat song. They also have the option to create original content, but the brands don't really know people. So what I do is I'm like, hey, I know people. I know these producers. So I'm like, Sunday license. I hit Sunday up and I'm like, hey, bro, you want to build your resume? You want to make some money? You want to do some of these TikToks with me? And then he does, like we were working on one today. He sent me the 11th revision. You know what I mean? Like it's not easy working with a brand because, you know, sometimes the brands don't know what they're even talking about. They're like, oh, I want the beat to sound like this. And you're like, are you crazy? You know what I mean? They're like, oh, could you change it to make it faster, but then slower, but then add this thing to it? You know what I mean? So it's kind of like the brands that have their own language, and I help to like help them understand like what producers actually listen to or what producers are saying, and I help the producer understand what the brand's talking about.
Okay.
But the announcement I wanted to make was, if any producers listening to this right now or watching it on YouTube later, and they want to like try their hand at making some beats with me and stuff,
okay,
like go ahead and shoot me a DM on Instagram, and like let's start a conversation, because I think we're gonna start getting so many campaigns going that Sunday can't handle it all. Sunday License is my guy, and like Sunday License is the man, and I'm so proud of him. But like he can't do everything. You know, I need people who make pop beats. I need people who make trap beats. I need people who make Latin trap beats. I need people who make K-pop beats. Like I need people who are making all this type of stuff.
Bet it up. Yeah, man. MikeBoydJr. Just so you guys know, at MikeBoydJr. I think you're gonna get a lot of DMs after this, man.
Strong following, bro.
No, I appreciate it.
And everyone fucks you, by the way. Like it's crazy. When I told people I was coming on your show, I got crazy DMs, and like Richie Souf is like, oh man, that's huge. I fuck with them super heavy, and like other producers I know, they're like, oh damn, I listen to them every day. All right, I go to that Instagram all the time, and I'm like, that's crazy, you know? Because like having a strong following like that is everything.
Nah, yeah, definitely, man. It's definitely been a blessing, man. You know, we fuck with the community heavy, and shout out to Richie too. You know, I've talked to him a couple of times, man. I know he hasn't really. I don't think he's done any interviews yet, right? Because he's like,
Not really, he doesn't show his face, so hard. It's so hard to do an interview. But he might show it real soon.
That's what he's been saying. I'm like, bro, you gotta come on the show, and we'll break the internet. You know what I mean? Showing the face.
I think what we're gonna do is something with Playboy Cardi.
Okay, dope. Hell yeah, man. Hell yeah. So I want to talk a little bit about TikTok too, and I want to talk about on the artist side, because I've had a lot of artists, like friends of mine and stuff. They're like, man, I want to do TikTok, but I don't want to do skits, and I'm not a dancer and stuff like that. What are some other things that they could do?
Oh, that's a good point. So basically anything you put on Instagram could go on TikTok. You know what I mean? Like, for example, Gary Vaynerchuk, if anyone wants to follow him on TikTok, it's Gary Vee, Gary Vee, if you spell it out. But he posts like talks, you know? He posts like clips from his keynotes. He posts clips from The Office, like Our Office, and he puts music over it, or he'll add the captions. If you want to get real good at TikTok, you got to learn how TikTok works. Okay. You know what I mean? Like you put up little captions that say like, my day was crazy, and then like that disappears, and then you like, here is why. You know what I mean? And like you have like TikToks going down where it's like you actually prove and show that you know what you're doing. But if you're a producer, man, you can even just make beats and put it on TikTok, like tutorials. You know what I mean? Like you don't have to wait for a genius to hit you up to do a tutorial. You know what I mean? Like become the guy or girl that makes beat tutorials on TikTok, you know? Like just make a name for yourself by like adding value, because there's, like I said before, and I said it a million times, if you add value, people come to you, you know? Like if I knew how to make beats and I was doing beat tutorials on TikTok and 1 or 2 kids liked them, they might share them. And then 2 more kids might like them. And then someone else learns how to make a beat because I showed them how. Then they're like, wow, and they give me credit in an interview. You know what I mean? Yeah.
No, yeah, I've seen, shout out to Cymatics. I've seen them do it successfully, where they'll be like, I'm going to make a beat with a microwave. And they, you know what I mean? They just like, they show a clip of like shutting the door, pressing the buttons. Then they transition to a clip where they're in FL Studio or Ableton or whatever. And they're, you know, piecing the sounds together and making a beat. And then at the end, you know what I mean? They just do something funny when they have the beat playing, like, you know what I mean? Stuff like that. I've definitely seen them execute well on that. So what about, man, paying TikTok influencers for campaigns, like as an artist? Because I know some artist friends that have done that unsuccessfully. Are there any like rules or kind of things to know about before you get into that?
What the artists do, they pay the TikTok person to dance to their song.
Yeah, like she had like a million and something followers, and I think his plays went up 10 on Spotify. No, but now another thing I'll let you know, he's not a TikTok person at all. His account is trash. Like he doesn't post anything. Like he has no following. So what would you say to that?
I'd say like sometimes it's more powerful to get like 10 small people to do your dance than one big person. And it's the same thing for Instagram. It's the same thing for TV commercials. You know, it's like if you see Drake drink a Sprite, do you really believe he drinks Sprite? But it's like if you see Lil Key drink a Sprite, you're like, damn, he probably drinks Sprite. You know what I mean? Or like you see like, shout out to Ron So Cold, like emerging artist from Charlotte. Like he only has 51,000 followers on Instagram, right? So like if he does something, it's way more believable that he actually does it. You know what I mean? Like if I was a brand, and I was going after someone, I'd have Ron So Cold support my brand before I had Drake do it. You know, if I was like a shoe company, I'd be like, sending Ron shoes. You know he's going to wear it on stage when he's doing Rolling Loud. You know what I mean? Because he probably doesn't have 400 pairs of shoes. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like being believable. But on TikTok, for an artist, what was your original question?
So I was talking about paying artists, to promote your music on TikTok, or not paying artists, paying TikTok dancers, influencers to basically have your song playing in the background of whatever they're doing.
I'd quote Gary on this where he says like the market decides. It's like if you're good enough, that's gonna work. Like I was talking to someone else about paying to play shows, like like everyone's like don't ever pay to be on stage. Like you get booked to be on stage, but it's at the same time. If you're that good and you don't have any videos of you performing on the internet, pay someone, be on stage, have your friend record it, and put that video on Instagram. You know what I mean? You're going to get booked if you're that good. If you suck and you're not getting booked because you're that bad, and then you pay to be on stage, it's not going to help your career. You know what I mean? But if you're like, if you are that dude or that girl or whatever, and you get someone to promote your song and you're that good, it's going to work.
Make those investments. Now I want to a couple of things that I've kind of gathered from TikTok, just my thoughts on strategy. I want to hear what you think about these. I think that if you have a TikTok with a bunch of content, like you're the artist, but you also have a TikTok, whatever it is, whatever kind of video it is, I don't care if it's dancing or whatever, but you kind of have like an account built up and you're taking it serious. You maybe have like some kind of following built. I think it makes more sense to do that, to pay influencers, because then you can, instead of like having them click off of TikTok to go pull your song up on Spotify, you can make the call to action be to follow you on TikTok and check out your videos. So I got a second one, but what do you think about that?
Yeah, I think that's cool. I mean, to be completely honest, like me personally, I wouldn't pay an influencer to do anything. Just me personally, just because it's too big of a risk for me to take. Like if they're cutting you a deal and like you really believe in yourself and you really believe that it's going to do what you want it to do, that's the thing too, is you got to set your own expectation, like you got to have your own goals. You can't just be like everything you do can't be the thing that makes you famous, like
lottery ticket mindset.
Yeah, you got to be realistic. Like if you think to yourself, oh, I'm going to pay this influencer and I want to get at least 100 new followers. Like make that a goal and then see if it works. And maybe it works and then maybe you won. But like if your goal is I'm gonna pay this influencer and then I'm gonna be famous, it's probably not gonna work no matter what influencer you pay, Yeah. But like I think you're right in the sense that like if you're on a platform, use the platform, build up your following and be good at it. There's this girl, Cabalito out in LA, and she's not the most popular artist, but her TikTok is very entertaining. Like she probably has like 200 TikToks, and it's like you could ask yourself, why is she doing it? But then you could also say, you know what, why not? And maybe one day one of her TikToks will go viral, and then now she's famous. You know what I mean? Like Shawn Mendes was found on Vine, I think. I'm pretty sure. Like you could Google it, but I'm pretty sure he was like one of the Vine people who then became a real artist. And no one's gonna be like, oh, Shawn Mendes isn't a real artist. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's possible to blow up on any platform. But it's like if you're going to spend all your time on Instagram, be careful, because if Instagram disappears, then you got to start over on TikTok,
Yeah. Definitely expand your social media portfolio. Now, my second one is I think that another great thing, instead of just paying a TikToker to dance to your video or whatever, I think it's worth the extra cost to see about actually appearing in that video and still having the call to action be to follow you on TikTok or whatever. And I think that for any platform, like, you know what I mean? Imagine like I always use like Supreme Patty, for example. Instead of paying Supreme Patty to do a video with your song in the background, why don't you see how much it costs to actually be in one of his skits? I think that extra cost is going to be so much worth it because I just think it's just way more of an exposure, way more of a smarter play.
Yeah, I think you're right, man. And it goes back to what you said about Sunny Digital with that guy who paid him to like get in the studio or whatever.
Yeah.
It's like if you pay this influencer, but let's say you like, well, for example, you know, everyone listening is a producer. So like, let's say you make really dope beats, but you pay this influencer and you're like, yo, I know you like rap. I know you want to rap. Like I have these beats, bro, or whatever. So it's kind of like, let me be in your TikTok. Let me get my song in your TikTok. But by the way, if you mess with anything, I got 2 beats. Just listen to these 2 beats. And if you like them, I have more. Like, let's work, let's collab. Cause like now you have their attention, you know, it's like, that's your shot. That's your chance to like, it's kind of like paying to play or whatever. It's like, if you don't have any network, you don't have any connection, that might be the way to do it, man. Now that you bring it up, it's like how you said, like be in the video. Like if you're actually a funny person, that influencer might want you to be in more videos. You know, you gotta be really humble and really real with them. You know, it'd be like, hey, if someone told me I have no connections, I'm just trying to make it. Obviously I paid you, but like on the real, I'm down to do anything. And like, if you like this video, let's do more, man. Like, I mean, who's going to say, like, at least they're going to check it out.
Yeah.
9 times out of 10, you might not even be good enough for them to care, but like at least they're going to give you a shot.
Mm-hmm. And like, you know, an over the internet transaction, paying for a swipe up, paying for a song play or whatever, is there's no real connection made there, you know what I mean, after the transaction. But if you're there in person, you spend some time with them, you know, working on this skit or working on this video or whatever, you know, just that, you know, if you're a cool person, you guys, you know, vibe, you know, you never know what that could lead to. You know, they might be like, yo, bro, we're about to go get some food. You want to come chill? You know what I mean? You never know. It's like that unknown that comes with that just by making the fucking point to just do some shit. You know what I mean? Putting yourself out there.
What you got to do is you got to do it with people early in their career. You know what I mean? Like don't pay Future to be in his video right now. Pay Lil Keed. Or don't pay Keed, pay Ron So Cold. You know what I mean? Or don't pay Ron, pay the kid down the street. You know what I mean? Like work with people who are on the same level as you, or like maybe a little bigger, maybe a little smaller. You know what I mean? Maybe you're the big shot, but you still need to be in the game. So like, you know what I mean? Like sometimes people, one person told me it's not always the person you're looking at that blows up. It's the person standing next to him. So it's kind of like, you just want to be in the picture, you know, you just want to be in the right circles. You want to be around the right people. So like find your way in, you know?
Mm-hmm. Definitely, man. Big gems on TikTok, man. I want to definitely get this live Q&A going, man. Let me just make sure I didn't skip over anything important because, man, this has been great, man. I definitely appreciate your time. So I guess real quick, last thing before we bring in people for Q&A. We see Gary's been going all in on Twitch and live streaming. Do you think that's a great platform for someone at ground zero, or do you think you should have a following somewhere else before you take it to the live stream?
I think any platform that you're willing to learn inside and out, it's good to do it. You know what I mean? Like if you don't think a lot of people are on Twitch right now and you want to spend 5 hours and learn what every single button on the homepage means, it's kind of like doing a producer app like Fruity Loops, right? Mm-hmm. It's like, if you want to learn what every single button and every single click does, you'll be a better producer probably. I don't know. I'm not a producer, but if you want to do Twitch and you learn every single thing about Twitch, and then you start doing Twitch and you start promoting yourself on Twitch, you could be that dude or that girl or whatever. But yeah, Gary's going all in on Twitch because why not? You know what I mean? Let's see if it works. Gary's the type of guy, when he hired me, he was like, why not? You know what I mean? He's not poor. So he's like, I'll hire you. Let's see what happens. And I worked my ass off and it worked. You know what I mean? But it's if you have time, if time is what you have and you think that you could be the best person on Snapchat, go be the best person on Snapchat, you know? It's also about where attention is. If you think everyone's off Snapchat, Snapchat is lame, go be the best person on it. You know what I mean? Like anyone using Snapchat right now, like I don't know which rappers are on Snapchat because I stopped using it. But like let's say Gunna's on there. He might be the number one person on Snapchat in your world because everyone else is off. So it's like every day you might see your best friend, your mom, and Gunna. Whereas like if you're on Instagram, you might even miss the post. You know what I mean?
Definitely, man. Big gems, man. You still got time for a little bit of Q&A?
Yes, sir.
Okay, cool, man. Let's go ahead, bring a couple in, man. I got to bring in Zack. He's been in here since before the stream started. So shout out to him, man. Early gang member, early gang, you dig? Zack, what's going on, bro? Make sure when you guys join, man, you're connecting to that audio as fast as possible, and then mute the stream in the background so we don't hear double audio. Zack, what's going on, man?
Good. What's good? How you doing? Hey, Mike.
Welcome to the morning show, man.
Thank you, bro. I appreciate it. I'm actually out in Dubai, so I'm a little ways away, but I appreciate like everything you've done for like the community, and just because I don't have that many people out here that are like working on music. Okay. So yeah, I had a quick question. It's kind of specific. Like I left university last year in like February. I came back home because I was at university in the US. I came back home, like I started like spending like 8 hours a day, like making music, spending all my time doing it. And then I started working like a job as well to get some money together. I got some money together so I could like fly to New York, get on a couch basically. But during that time I was sending out like a bunch of emails. Actually like in the Vibes interview, he kind of talked about how like he'd been selling beats online and he felt like he kind of like missed out on like the industry like placements. So I decided like at least for the beginning I'm gonna go like full 100 trying to get placements. So I was like sending out emails like every day when I was like at the point where I thought like I'm good enough. And I ended up like I was reaching out to like the smallest people out of everyone's camp, right? So I would go to like an artist camp, I'd find like the smallest person with the least followers in their camp and like reach out to them. Yeah, so I basically like 250 emails in, I got like the first response. And it was like someone that had been on tour with Gunna actually. And he was a producer, but he didn't have any placements with him. And like he hit me back, we started working together. And basically like within the next like 3-4 weeks, like I got a song placed with Gunna. Like he was able to play it for him in the studio, and I was able to get like a placement with him. So I mean I was like so hyped. That was like the best day of my life, you know, like I was out here, I don't really know anyone making music, and I was able to like get that placement. But basically
fire, man.
Like this was last year in June, right? So that's when I started like working. I like saved up so I could fly to New York, and like I met up with the guy in Atlanta that I'd seen, but basically the album just came out, right? And it is not on there. So I just had like a quick question about it in the sense of like, I do have like a song with the artist, right? But I don't have like a personal connection to them or like anyone else on their team that's like directly around him. So the guy I reached out with, he like recorded Gunna a few times, but he hasn't been in touch with them as much either. So I was just wondering, is there like a way that you think is smart to go about like contacting the team or someone around him? Because I never really reached out to them during the time because they don't know who I am, you know, and they don't know.
What do you think, Mike? What would you say?
When you say you got a placement with Gunna, is it out? The song's out?
No. It's not out. It's not out. I just got like the song. The song was like recorded and it was mixed, and it's like it's a finished song, but it didn't come out. No.
I would send more beats, man. Like I would send more beats, and like, do you have any video of him in the studio listening to it or anything?
Yeah, I have like the snippets. They're on like IG and stuff on like the YSL page. So yeah.
Well, I'd say, I mean, I'm happy for you, man. I'd say you're doing it, you know, and like it's smart to come to America and I would go to Atlanta because in Atlanta people like collaborate more easily, you know, over New York. I'd say like in Atlanta you're in the studio. You might be in the studio with who knows who, but like Gunna might be in the room next to it, and you might literally just knock on the door and say, "Hey, I made a song with you, bro. I'm from Dubai. Like, I made a song with you, bro." And he might be like, "Are you serious? That's crazy." Like Gunna's a really nice guy, you know. I know Gunna, and like, you know what I mean? Like I think just network, man. Like if you had that placement, you're already ahead of most people. You know what I mean?
Right.
I mean, I wouldn't even call it a placement if it's not out. But I think just keep talking to your contact, keep sending them beats, and just keep it moving, man. Don't stress, because like a lot of people, like I manage Richie Souf, and like we make beats with tons of people, and it never comes out. Or what happens is you might have that song with Gunna, and then he might give it to Thug, and maybe it'll be on Thug's album. Like that happens all the time. Like we make songs with Future, and they end up on Chris Brown's album. You know what I mean? Like we made a lot of songs with Juice WRLD, and they ended up on other people's albums. You know what I mean? Like R.I.P. Juice WRLD. But like that's just kind of how the game works. People might be in the same studio, and they might hear the song you made, and they might be like, "Oh, I need that on my album." You know what I mean? Or like someone crazy like Thug, who like makes a ton of songs. They might pull it up on a hard drive later. Gunna might pull it up in a year. You never know. And he might be like, "Oh man, this song's crazy. That was at the time period of my life where like I want this album to be about." So like I'd say just keep it moving and be happy to be proud of yourself, because like that's a lot farther than most people get.
All right, I appreciate that.
Yeah, I definitely agree, man. Keep it moving, and like don't wait on it. You know what I mean? Because most likely, I'm gonna be honest, it's probably not gonna come out. But I mean, that's not to say it's not gonna. You know what I mean?
Yeah. That's why, like, I kind of feel like, because once I got it, I was like, okay, basically, I'm gonna like make a vault of like the most beats I can, right? The most like good quality shit I can make this year, so that like when it comes out, I'm ready to like hit up everybody. You know what I mean? Like go here. But I wasn't really like, I was still reaching out to people, but I wasn't like trying to sell beats online or do any of that other stuff. And like now it hasn't come out, and like you said, it might never come out.
Yeah.
So I was kind of like fuck,
people
like,
in the chat are
time,
people in the chat are saying leak that shit. Did you actually get the song?
My Connect has it. When I went to Atlanta, I got to hear it, but
Gotcha.
I'm not trying to leak that. That'll fuck.
Nah. I was just saying that's what the chat said. All right, though, bro, man. Appreciate you tapping into the morning show, man. Appreciate your support, though, too, man. I see you in the stream like damn near every day.
Yeah, thank you, bro.
All right, bro.
Peace.
Cool, man. Oh shit, my boy Billy Rax, man. Let me get Billy in here. My boy Billy tapping into the Q&A. Yo, this is a dope artist right here, by the way, guys. Yeah, I know you guys have seen. We've done a lot of stuff with him on the channel. Super dope. What's good, bro?
What up, G?
Cool. What's good, man? Can you you mute that YouTube video?
I fuck with Mike heavy. I told you that. Big fan of what they doing over there. I really tapped in to ask this question, Mike, because I feel responsibility to a lot of people who fuck with me as an independent artist. I'm really like strongly one foot in the industry, one foot out. I'm probably one of those artists that's gotten very far in a lot of rooms organically. I don't have like an industry super manager or nothing like that. Dylan knows these things. So I really want to ask you this question just to kind of relate to these fans or other artists that tap in with me all the time. It's a lot of artists that get in my DM and ask me, who's your PR agent, who you working with, or how'd you get in this room? And sometimes I feel bad because I can't give them quality answers because most of my come-ups have been organically. So the main question I would ask you, Mike, is just being blunt, straightforward, kind of short answer for an independent artist who's in the space that I'm in, or in those rooms where you're industry, but you may not be rocking, you may not have established the right capital behind you or the right campaigns. When you're going into that space, like I'm going to that space, how should you narrow down how to spend your capital in the campaign space, or just an artist in my space right now who's like really in the industry, but I'm epitome of independence. So there's a lot of struggles that I deal with at the same time. What's when it comes to the campaign space, what would you say would be most successful for artists like me or artists kind of my caliber?
To allocate a budget?
Yeah, kind of just like, I heard you guys talk about a lot of the platforms, TikTok, Spotify, YouTube, all those things from an artist perspective. How would you think they should develop a campaign, something confident that they can be confident in with their next release? Who they may not have, a super manager, or they may not be signed to a label.
Yeah. What city are you in?
I'm in Houston. I'm based in Houston.
Oh, cool. Okay. I mean, I think, let's say you want a song Chopped and Screwed, right? Like, let's say you go to OG Ron C or whatever, and you tell him like, hey, like I think he was charging like $400 to chop through a song a couple days ago. Like, let's say you say, yo, I'll give you 500, but once you got my song, you got to post about it in your IG story, you know? Like, I think, like, add it on to, like, what people are offering is cool. You know what I mean? Like how we
Chase the Money, she chopped and screwed. My last project, Religion, I dropped with Chase the Money. OG Ron C was they grabbed it on their own, chopped and screwed it. And so that's kind of where, like, for me, it gets down. I feel obligated to just jump in because I know Dylan is like, I have that blessing to ask you this question specifically because a lot of artists ask me, so I can't give them solid answers. For me, a lot of organic things have happened, but it hasn't necessarily triggered the turning point. Bro, I'm in a great space as an artist. I'm independent. Like, I'm really all over the world. I'm doing things. I'm humble, though. I hop in DMs. I ask advice. I'm trying to get on playlists. I'm doing all these things. I mean, but like I said, for me, I feel obligated to ask this question to you because I don't have a clear-cut answer on that. You know, a lot of things for me have been organic, being in the right places, or maybe just my brand. You know, I have like a very, like, my brand, when people come across it, they're like, what the fuck? You know, somebody may really like my sound, or they may be like kind of repulsed by my sound, but they love my visuals, they love my brand. It's a lot of weird shit happened to me that I'm blessed, but I'm navigating in a space where I'm working capital. I'm getting up into that space where, yo, it's formula, it's a science, you know what I'm saying, with this shit to a certain extent. How should I go at my next campaign? You know, what would be the smartest things of an artist in my space? You know, those things, because, you know, our money has to be, every dollar has to count, especially as independent in my space.
Yeah. I mean, are you connected with any artists or producers in Atlanta?
Yeah, like I said, last year I dropped the project called Religion with Chase the Money. So
Yeah.
It did a lot of things. It did a lot of things for me. There's a lot of features that I'm sitting on. There's a lot of big things that happen for me. I'm, like I said, bro, like, when it comes to the networking and those type of organic things, I've been blessed. It's fueled my career. But when it comes to turning that corner, real bags, real amplifying your numbers, you know, turning that corner. A lot of artists, I feel like, and I know I can say that because I'm in that space. It doesn't frustrate me, but sometimes I turn to frustration because I'm at the point right now where it's like, what you do, it has to be intentional. What I'm doing right now, in order for me to cross that line, it's going to be intention. I feel like I experienced a lot of just me being dope and being in right places, certain things like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, I think maybe, like, from the sound of it, man. Well, first of all, shoot me a DM so I can check out your music, you know. But, like, from the sound of it, it sounds like your time is coming. You know what I mean? It sounds like if you're just, like, patient, it sounds like you're about to get your look. You know, you're working with the right people. I would say, if I was you, I would go to Atlanta, link up with Chase the Money, and some of you guys are tight, so you probably don't have to pay him anything, right? But, like, have him bring you in the room with some other artists and just, like, pay a video person to be filming it, taking photos, like, create more content online and just be around the right people, you know? Because, like, if I'm a big Chase the Money fan, or if I'm an artist and I'm, like, following Chase the Money real hard and I see you around him all the time, I'm gonna be like, who the fuck is that? You know what I mean? I think just being in the right circles online helps a lot, you know? Like, I would go to those cities, touch with the right people, and, like, pay someone to do something, you know, pay a camera person, or maybe pay Chase the Money and just be like, hey, dude, between me and you, like, I'll give you $100 if you just, like, tell this artist I'm dope, or, like, let me go with you to a session you're in, and, like, when the session is chilling, like, whenever.
Oops.
I'm muted, I think.
My bad. Yeah.
Oh,
I was trying. You there?
Yeah.
No, you're there. My bad.
Okay. When the session is chilling and, like, everyone's ordering food or something, just have Chase the Money be like, oh, yeah. You know, this is my guy. He rap. You know, like have an intro, you know?
Big facts. 100%, bro. Yeah, I move off of, I think like what you're saying is 100% right. I mean, I've embraced that. Yeah, bro. I mean, I've been, you know, go back when my name Billy Rax. I've hopped in your DM a couple of times because I'm very interested in you guys' playlist. I know for me, I've hit really good numbers organically in the Spotify world and things like that. So obviously I know the benefit of playlisting and stuff like that and how important those things is. So yeah, bro. I'll hop in your DM again, but I definitely hopped in before just sending you records.
Then leave me a comment on the last post if you hop in my DM, because sometimes DMs are weird. So leave me a comment and I'll hit you.
All right, say solid, bro. That's the one. I appreciate that.
Hey,
Dylan, hit you, brother.
Already, bro. Yeah, man. I definitely hope you get a chance to tap in with him and check him out. That's definitely artists. We definitely believe in. So, all right, though, bro.
All right, dog.
Cool, man. Let's get like one more, man.
One more.
I know you're a busy man, man. You gotta get back to those brand deals.
Yeah,
Back to
for real, man. I really do. People are calling me.
Hey, man, we appreciate your time.
I'm
You know,
having
for
fun. I'm having
Hello,
fun.
can you hear me?
yo, Ron, you in the building, man? What's good?
Yo, what's good, guys? Yo,
Welcome
Dylan, thanks for bringing me in. Mike,
Yes,
nice
sir.
to meet you. We have mutual contacts in Dion, Ferg, and Andy Shea from Killy.
Yeah.
Basically, man, I'm Canadian, but I'm based in Europe. I'm based in Moscow, and basically over the last 4 or 5 years, I've been as you said in the podcast, giving value. So I found a niche, just like you found your niche with working with Gary, doing interviews. My niche was catching artists coming in like on tour and offering that. Like I got good with all the mainstream and underground blogs, and I started selling PR packages. Not even selling, just giving them up, you know, to artists coming through. So my network has been pretty big, and I'm excuse me, I'm kind of nervous. Basically, I'm also a manager, and I signed. I'm on a management. I'm a manager for a big producer. And I'm trying to break him into the United States, right? And basically, I found that I've over 3-4 years of giving value, helping these artists with PR in Europe and increasing their streams territorially in these regions. And when they say, "Yo, when they try to help me back, I always send packs out like via email and like via DM, but like I feel like the conversion has been super weak, and like I feel like I'm starting to give up on that, and I'm starting to understand that maybe I just got to get in the rooms. So based on your experience, I wanted to ask, emails and sending packs just as a manager, right? Is that very ineffective, or is the best thing to do is get your guy in the studio with them? Because like obviously the guy is super talented if he's reached massive success in Europe, right? So the same thing like with the Palaces and the OZs from Germany, right? Like I'm trying to build the same thing, and I've done. I mean, my network's pretty big, just being here because I'm known as like the North American guy in Russia that can set press up. So my question is, what would be your advice like on a manager level to convert more placements?
Yeah, that's cool. Well, it sounds like you're doing everything right, bro. I mean, when someone comes to Russia and you set them up with a PR run, you said they pay you, or what do they do?
No, I'm doing it out of just giving value, like literally free. This is a service probably costs a couple $1,000s.
So maybe just tell them that what you want in exchange is to like have a moment backstage at the show, or moment like backstage or in the room with the interviewer to play them like 2 beats, right? And just like get the artist's take on it right then and there. And if they like them, be like, all right, the beats are yours, like use them. Like obviously we'll figure out the paperwork and like payment, but like use the beat, you know? And I'd say emails work, bro, but yeah, being in the room is better. It's like out of sight, out of mind, you know? Like if I send A Boogie an email right now, like, and he doesn't need a beat, he's not going to open it. You know what I mean? Also, maybe talk to the manager, because some people like 3 beats at a time. Some people like a whole pack, you know? Like, artists are different. So, like, maybe ask the manager, like, what do you want me to send? Like, you want me to send 3 beats and attachment, or you want me to send a WeTransfer? Like, I'd ask, like, what you want. Make sure you're giving them what they actually want. But then I've been in the studio a bunch of times where an artist is just like, damn, we need beats. And they, like, tweet out, like, send me beats. Like, those aren't jokes. Like when artists send out those emails or tweets, I mean, those tweets or Instagrams, those are real. Like they really need beats those times. So like if you're like on the watch and you're watching Dion and Ferg needs beats and Dion puts it up or Ferg puts it up, like I'd hit them immediately. But get friendly with the engineers. You know, like maybe what you need to do is be like, yo, do the promo run in Russia if you connect me with your engineer, because I got this producer who just wants to get in the game. You know what I mean? And then the producer send packs to the engineer. And then when the artist needs a beat, the engineer has the pack. You know what I mean? Because I've seen well, a lot of engineers are producers too. I've been in the studio a bunch of times where the artist is like, damn, there's no good beats. And then the engineer's like, well, I got a beat. And then like the engineer ends up being on the album. But
what's the incentive to the engineer?
yeah, there might not be much unless you guys are actually creating like some type of relationship. You know, maybe it's a co-production then. That's what it is. It's a co-production with the engineer.
And take care of the engineer, you know what I mean? Bring him a gift, man. Bring him something. Bring him some gas. Bring him something. Be the plug.
Bro, that's actually my first like hookup in 2016. I've been breeding gas, like I've been like helping out that way, but like I'm starting to think that because I got really good relationships all around like in Toronto, LA, New York, Atlanta.
I would say one thing though, but make sure you're doing it in a genuine way, because it's not going to be productive to be that guy that's bringing gifts just because they know, like, yeah, man, this guy's, you know, looking for something. Like, yeah, he's giving me this, but you know, he's got his hand out at the same time. I would say make sure you're genuine about it. Like, do it just to do it. Like, maybe don't even ask the first couple times.
I won't even ask. That's the crazy part.
Okay.
So I gotta move now and be there. That's the only like, because this email, Dropbox, and also another thing. What's the best platform? You guys use just Google Drive, the Dropbox. What's the best?
Yeah, I say one thing I always say, man, is I always, well, your phone's going crazy, bro. And you're a little muffled too, but I would say, man, I would say send them right through Gmail, because if you're sending WeTransfer, bro, 9 times out of 10, bro, like they're not gonna download it. People want to just be able to pull up a link on their phone and hear that shit right on the spot. And also too, I would say get a mail tracker installed, like mail track on your Gmail. So at least now you have some data to know, like, okay, did that email get opened? Did links get clicked? How many times did they open the email? And stuff like that.
All right, bro. Yo, Dylan, I gotta pull up on you in Atlanta.
Bet it up, man. Hit me.
All right, bro. All right, thanks.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you tapping in, man. Mike, man, the gems have been real, man. We really appreciate your time this morning, man.
Thank you. Hell yeah. Thanks for having me, bro.
Yes, sir, man. So yeah, man. Just to refresh for the people that are just getting here, Mike's looking for beats, man. So hit him up, shoot him a DM. If you, I don't know if you want to real quick, briefly mention that again.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's see here. How can we make it harder to get in? Send me a DM. And then I'll come up with some type of crazy hoop you got to jump through, so that's not just like the easiest thing in the world. An
algebra problem or some shit like that.
Yeah. Answer this question if you want me to hear your beat. No, just shoot me a DM, you know, like shoot it today.
Cool. All right, my guy, man. Appreciate your time again, man. And we're going to have to follow up sometime soon, though, man. But appreciate your time.
Oh, yeah. Thank you.
Yes, sir. What's going on in the chat, man? Let me show some love to the chat, man. What's going on, guys? It's Friday. What's everybody getting into today, man? How'd you guys like the show, man? Let me get a strong arm or 100 or something, man. Was that some gems, man? I seen someone in the chat while it was going on. You know, because I do look at the chat while I'm doing these interviews. Someone said Dylan's really mining today. Yeah, man. I had my my axe out, man. I was getting them gems, man, pulling out that gold. You know what I'm saying? I make sure I ask these good questions, man. I'm not going to ask no basic shit. You guys know the vibes. You know what I'm saying? Doobie Beats 555 hotline. Leno, my guys. One of the best ones yet. Dope, man. I appreciate that. Yeah. I think the relationship building gems. Black Disney says Dylan the go. I appreciate the love, man. You guys know I appreciate the love, man. What's Mike Boyd's IG? It's just at MikeBoydJr. I'm gonna put it in the chat. It's at Mike Boyd. I know his DMs are gonna go crazy today, boy. What was our peak with people in the stream? Just so I know, because like I said, I couldn't see. What's the most we had? Was it a record breaker or what's going on, man? Thank you for the digital crate. Oh yeah, the digital crate, man. Make sure you guys go grab that. It's only like how much time is left? An hour and 25 minutes, man. The digital crate bundle. Early Gang Edition, you know what I mean? The TB Digital one-shot kit, which is fire. I know you guys are going to love the one-shot kit. It's got some crazy sounds. You can go actually preview some of the sounds. It's got over 200, but you can preview some of the sounds in there. You guys know one-shot kits are the wave. If you don't know, you know what I mean? You're missing out on the wave, whether it's our one-shot kit or there's some other dope ones out there too, you know what I mean? I keeps it real. I keeps it real. But this one's fire. I'm going to say this one's the best, especially right now. Shout out to TB Digital. But yeah, it's also coming with the TB Digital Retro Digital Sample Pack, which is TB's first premium sample pack. You guys know, I know if you love Utopia, if you love Planet X, if you love Planet Astra, the 3 last free ones he dropped, all royalty free. These are royalty free too. All 20 are royalty free. So as TB says, if you get a Drake placement, you don't got to cut the check, man. You keep your pub, you keep all that. Yes, sir. But shout out to TV. Also comes with some mixer presets, $25 Producergrind gift card, and a beat battle contest pass. This is just for Early Gang, like I said. So you know what I mean, this bundle is going to go live today at 3 p.m. and it's not going to have the contest pass. So if you guys want to participate in the beat battle, we're going to set a date on that, and that's you don't have to use the loops or anything. You can send in any beat. There's when you get the bundle, it's going to come with 2 PDFs, a PDF for the gift card information and a PDF for the contest information. It's going to tell you what email to send the beats to, and yeah, man, we're gonna set the date for the battle. It's not gonna be next Friday, but I think the Friday or Saturday after that. So you got some time to cook up some heat, and go stupid, dumb, crazy. But yeah, man, like I said, you guys are the only ones to know about this right now. It doesn't even drop till 3 p.m. But what's going on with the chat, man? It's Friday, man. I don't want to head out that quick. I know, man, we did a bunch of interviews this week, so the chat, man, I haven't really had the time to catch up. Definitely about to cook up, says Voorhees. Facts, man. Definitely cooking up. Black Disney says definitely copping the kit. Hey, I appreciate that, man. Let's do some Q&A, says Raph. Q&A. I'm gonna come on and do Q&A, man. I can't lie. I gotta take a piss, so I don't know how much long I'm gonna be you know, right now. But next week, man. Oh yeah. Let me pull up. Let me see what's going on the calendar. We got some dope shit lined up next week. So next week, we got Will from Taylor Gang. Now, Will from Taylor Gang, I don't know if you guys are familiar with Will. You probably heard Wiz. Shout out Will. Shout out to my brother Will and shit like that on tracks. This is the guy that was there from ground zero helping Wiz build Taylor Gang. He's actually like the president. So just like we had Brock, the president of 808 Mafia, this is the president of Taylor Gang. Real dope business guy, entrepreneur, branding guy, marketing guy. So Will from Taylor Gang. Yes, sir, Steez. Yep. So that's going to be dope. That coffee running through you. Facts, bro. Bro, every time at the end of these episodes, man, if you ever see me end this shit quick and abruptly, it's because I got to take a fucking piss. I'm not going to lie, man. This is coffee, man. I need like a little urinal under the desk so I could just keep it going and keep the stream going. I'll stream for hours. Yeah, Southside, Marcus B. Southside, we're going to do the regular podcast. When the Producer Grind podcast comes back, once quarantine, you know what I mean, chills out, the podcast will be back in full force. We'll be hitting the road, man. We'll be going we'll be going over to Atlanta, We're in Atlanta. We'll be going over to LA to do some. Got some dope producers we got to catch up with in New York, man. Some legends too. There's a lot of legends we can tap into in New York. Just get a bucket. They said, nah, you guys won't let me live, man. If all of a sudden we're chilling, all of a sudden you just start hearing, you know what I mean? It's one thing for the ASMR with the coffee. I ain't gonna give y'all no piss stream ASMR though. But yeah, the Southside episode is gonna be crazy. Yeah, it's gonna be lit. That one is one of the ones we've always wanted to do. One of the ones I know you guys have always wanted. But yeah, that one is confirmed. Like we've DM'd with Southside. I've DM'd with Southside. He said he's down 100%. Brock said 100% it's gonna happen. So you know what I mean, it's just waiting for the quarantine to happen. I'd rather do that one with the regular Producer Grind podcast, and you know what I mean, really sit down. The morning show is dope. Don't get me wrong. Actually, right now I'm fucking with the morning show more than anything. But yeah, something about those in-person ones. Yeah, we do need Nick. We got to get Nick Mirror, man. TM's another guy I've talked to, confirmed. He's gonna do it. It's gonna happen. Man, there's a lot of guys that are confirmed and that it's gonna happen. So definitely know that. TM, and who else, man? There's Take Keith that said he's down. A lot of guys, you know what I mean? Pierre taps in with us on IG. He comments on our stuff, but That man don't get back to the DM. So early game, man. Hit him up, man. Comment on his stuff. Say Producer Grind podcast needs to happen. Activate early gang. You know what I'm saying? Mike Will, I haven't talked to personally. Metro, I haven't talked to. Lex, you know, we actually, I don't know if you guys know, we dropped a brass kit from Lex back when Producer Grind, like in 2016, 2017, we dropped like a brass contact library with Lex. Lex actually created. So, and then Kino, you know, Kino, I fuck with Kino heavy. Kino fucks with Lex. So we've definitely like had talks about the podcast, but, you know what I mean? Just gotta line it up. Mike Dean would be crazy. Kyle's coming on the morning show. I want to do the in-person with Kyle. Like I was waiting because we could have did Kyle a long time ago. I've been talking to Kyle for a minute. DY, yeah, we I said DY. Yeah, DY, we've DM'd too. It's another guy. We just got to go out to LA. We'll probably get Scott Storch too, Timberland, Johnny. Man, look, you guys are naming all the goats. Johnny, I've met in person. Johnny was there at the Cardo interview, and we were gonna get Johnny, but I didn't know he was in LA that week, and then he was leaving out the next morning, so we didn't have time to do that. And I was like, you know what, fuck it, let's just wait on it. Let's make sure we can plan that shit out. Pharrell would be crazy, man. You guys are naming all the goats. Yep, Toomp, we already did Toomp. Nez Cardi, Pensado, DX Beats, man, that would be dope. Shout out to Dave Pensado, man. You know what I mean? He's a producer podcast goat. Ninth Wonder, man. All these guys, bro. DJ Premier is one that we definitely want to get up in New York. Harry Fraud, we want to get up in New York. Hitmaker, Arab Music, we've talked to. We've talked to his manager. Yeah, man. A lot of guys. Murda. I've talked to Murda's manager. We got to get that one in. Dre, that would be legendary. But you guys know, man, all that's just going to come eventually. I'm not just going to sit here, rattle off names, but I definitely appreciate it. Bring Ant back for a part 3. Hell yeah. Ant's a goat, man. What else, though, man? What else is going on in the chat? All right, man. So I guess that just about wraps it up, man. Appreciate you guys, man. Head on over, man. Grab that Early Gang Edition digital crate. The link is in the bio right now. It's about an hour to get it if you guys want to participate in the beat battle. And yeah, man. Appreciate you guys, man. Appreciate the gang. We'll be back next Monday. Every day, Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. The morning show. Hey man, this has been a dope week, man. This has been a dope week. We broke records, I think, twice in a row this week. Appreciate the love, man. Episode 16, we're going crazy. Episode 17 Monday. Who's tapping in Monday, man? Yeah, Memorial Day. Have a good Memorial Day weekend, man. Appreciate you guys.